Today we're talking about 3D figures. The first type of 3D figure we're going to talk about is a prism. So a prism has two bases. So those two bases are congruent and they're parallel, so you're never going to intersect. And then those two bases are connected by lateral faces. And in a prism, those lateral faces that connect the two bases are going to be parallelograms. So if you look in this example, this is a right prism, which means that it's straight up and down. The bases are these two triangles. They're parallel and they're congruent, so it's one triangle on top, one triangle on bottom. And those two bases are connected by those lateral faces. So this parallelogram right here, which is really a rectangle, but this parallelogram here is a lateral face. So there's three lateral faces that connect those two triangular bases. And then sometimes you'll have an oblique prism, which just means it's slanted like that. Again, these are my two triangular bases, and my lateral faces are parallelograms that connect them. So we name a prism based off of the type of shape that is its base. So these would be triangular prisms because their bases are in the shape of a triangle. So it gives you a lot of information. If you know the name of the prism, it tells you which shapes are the bases, because it's the two. If they're shapes that aren't parallelograms, those are definitely going to be your bases. But what if your prism is a rectangular prism? So in this example, it's telling us that this top and this bottom are the base, but if we flipped that box over, then we'd have a different base. So for a rectangular prism, technically any two parallel faces can be your bases, but we'll just have to specify which ones we're considering to be the bases. Okay, then your height is what's connecting your two bases. And your height is always going to have to be perpendicular to the two bases. So if it's a right prism, your height is just like the edge of the prism, because it's going to make a right angle with both of the bases. So this would be the height in this prism. But if you have an oblique prism and it's slanted like that, your height is actually going to be outside the prism, so this would be the height. The height connects the two bases, makes a right angle with the two bases. So what we're calculating today is the surface area of a prism. So it's the sum of all of a prism's faces. So if you added the bases and the lateral faces, if you calculated how much area all of those faces take up, that would be surface area. So an example of surface area would be like, if you were going to cover the outside of your prism in paint, how much paint would it take to cover the whole surface of the prism? Or if you're going to cover it in wrapping paper, how much wrapping paper would it take to cover up the whole entire prism? So today we are calculating surface area.